Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Newsbrowse News broadcast. U.S. President Trump announced on April 23 that the United States would not use nuclear weapons in any attack on Iran. Speaking to reporters at the White House, President Trump asserted that conventional weapons alone were sufficient to destroy Iran, thereby rendering the use of nuclear weapons unnecessary. He further emphasized his broader stance that the deployment of nuclear weapons should not be permitted by any entity. This declaration comes amidst ongoing tensions surrounding potential military actions against Iran. The president's comments suggest a preference for limited engagement with non-nuclear capabilities, aiming to project strength while de-escalating concerns about nuclear proliferation in the conflict. This news was reported by GG Press. Washington. U.S. President Donald Trump asserted on Thursday that he is in no rush to conclude the ongoing weeks-long U.S.-Israeli war with Iran, even as negotiations remain stalled. Speaking from the White House, Trump informed reporters that American citizens should anticipate paying higher prices for gasoline for a little while, presenting this as the necessary cost for achieving Iran without a nuclear weapon. Earlier that day, Trump took to Truth Social, stating, "I am possibly the least pressured person ever to be in this position. I have all the time in the world, but Iran doesn't. The clock is ticking." He emphasized that any future peace agreement with Iran would be dictated by U.S. terms and timeline. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt later confirmed there was no firm deadline for Tehran to submit a peace deal proposal. This news comes from Xinhua. Al Jazeera reports that Pope Leo has strongly condemned the global treatment of migrants and refugees, stating they are often viewed as worse than house pets or animals. Speaking on his return flight to Rome after a four-nation Africa tour, the Pope, who is the first head of the Roman Catholic Church from the U.S., reiterated his call for better humanitarian treatment for these vulnerable groups. He acknowledged nations' rights to control their borders, but emphasized the responsibility of richer countries to foster development in nations from which migrants depart, thereby addressing the root causes of displacement. Pope Leo also criticized the killing of protesters in Iran earlier this year, responding to previous remarks from former U.S. President Donald Trump. The Pope affirmed his commitment to speaking out against war and promoting peace, dialogue, and multilateral relations, stating he does not fear the Trump administration. UPI reports that South Korea is witnessing a worrying trend as economic hardship and widespread digital access push young people into high-profit illegal activities, often disguised as legitimate part-time jobs. This marks a significant shift from traditional survival crimes like theft to more organized digital fraud, financial scams, and crime-for-hire schemes. Government data reveal that the youth employment rate for ages 15 to 29 plummeted to 43.6% in March, contrasting sharply with the overall rate of 69.7% and indicating a K-shaped labor market recovery. Concurrently, the number of young offenders per 100,000 increased from 3,130 in 2021 to 3,363 in 2024, with fraud being particularly prevalent among those in their 20s. The allure of quick, substantial earnings from illegal ventures, sometimes exceeding 500,000 won, 100,000 hourly, compared to modest monthly wages from unstable legal jobs, fuels this participation. Digital platforms like social media and encrypted messaging apps such as Telegram facilitate recruitment for these Yamabado, high-paying short-term jobs. Operations, lowering entry barriers. Experts caution that involvement, even minor, can lead to lasting criminal records. Criminal profiler Bai Song-hoon notes the underestimation of risks, while Professor Kim Yoon-tae stresses the need for structural reforms in employment, education, and housing to address the root causes of poverty and mitigate the appeal of illegal income. A new national report by Blood Cancer New Zealand has revealed that Pacific people in New Zealand are dying at higher rates from blood cancer compared to other groups, as reported by RNZ. The report, State of Blood Cancer in New Zealand, highlights that late diagnosis, significant cost pressures, and barriers to accessing care are putting Pacific lives at risk. Blood cancer is now Aotearoa's third leading cause of cancer death, with over 1,000 deaths annually, a nearly 40% rise since 2008. Tim Myfelini, regional manager of Blood Cancer New Zealand, explained that Pacific families are often disadvantaged upon entering the health system, frequently delaying GP visits due to cost and access issues until it's too late. The ongoing pressure extends to treatment, where families struggle with balancing basic needs like transport, work, and childcare. While Health Minister Simeon Brown announced a new blood cancer oversight group and a $27 million investment in stem cell transplants, advocates like Myfelini emphasize that despite 33 new cancer medicines being funded, the outcomes for Pacific people do not show a massive change in support, indicating a long way to go to bridge the gap in equitable healthcare. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.